You did a build with AMD recently that I saw. How does the 7900 XTX compare to the RTX 4090 or 4080?
Well, let's start with the fact that the 7900 XTX kernel drivers don't work. And if you run demo apps in loops, it panics the kernel.
Okay. So this is a software issue.
Lisa Su responded to my email.
Oh.
I reached out. I was like, this is, really?
Yeah.
Like, I understand if your 7x7 transposed Winograd conv is slower than NVIDIA's, but literally when I run demo apps in a loop, the kernel panics.
So just adding that loop.
Yeah, I just literally took their demo apps and wrote like while true, do the app, done in a bunch of screens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is like the most primitive fuzz testing.
Why do you think that is? They're just not seeing a market in machine learning?
They're changing. They're trying to change. And I had a pretty positive interaction with them this week. Last week, I went on YouTube. I was just like, that's it. I give up on AMD. Like, this is their driver doesn't even, like, I'm not gonna, I'll go with Intel GPUs. Right? Intel GPUs have better drivers.
So you're kind of spearheading the diversification of GPUs.
Yeah, and I'd like to extend that diversification to everything. I'd like to diversify my central thesis about the world is there's things that centralize power and they're bad. And there's things that decentralize power and they're good. Everything I can do to help decentralize power, I'd like to do.
So you're really worried about the centralization of NVIDIA. That's interesting. And you don't have a fundamental hope for the proliferation of ASICs, except in the cloud.
I'd like to help them with software. No, actually, the only ASIC that is remotely successful is Google's TPU. Yeah. And the only reason that's successful is because Google wrote a machine learning framework. I think that you have to write a competitive machine learning framework in order to be able to build an ASIC.
You think Meta with PyTorch builds a competitor?
I hope so. Okay. They have one. They have an internal one.
Internal. I mean, public facing with a nice cloud interface and so on.
I don't want a cloud.
You don't like cloud?
I don't like cloud.
What do you think is a fundamental limitation of cloud?
Fundamental limitation of cloud is who owns the off switch.
So it's power to the people.
Yeah.
And you don't like the man to have all the power.
Exactly.
All right. And right now, the only way to do that is with NVIDIA GPUs if you want performance and stability. Interesting. It's a costly investment emotionally to go with AMDs.